My sadness grows as my trust fades away in the midnight dust. My love is enveloped, yearning for hope from the angels who dance freely in waters of the oceans when sunset sets. Morning dew turns into frozen dew due to the bees running out of honeydew. Butterflies becoming angry due to the decreasing of dragonflies. I adorn the ornament of life until life stings like a hornet. Now my madness sings like a hurricane. My heart and brain filled with trauma and pain. Life is heavy and heaven is scary. What goes up must comes down. I am not a shooting star, but many people played my love like a guitar, while others listened while smoking their cigars, wanting to slit and slice their throats and drive them to the Atlantic Ocean on a speedboat and watch them sink until they meet the slaves who built this ruined but still existing world. Soul going through every season of pain, but in a week I can't sleep. Even with sleep aid, I'll accept a box of band-aids because life is temporary anyway.
In Bradenton, Florida on June 1st, 2024, a 28-year-old man named Javonte Brice took to Facebook and wrote, "I made my life and relationship right with the Lord before anybody else. I don't care who or what I lose. As long as I have Him, I have everything." This same young man was gifted and talented as a poet who expressed himself through short stories that he shared with anyone who would listen. His story encapsulated a lot of what he was said to have been dealing with in his 28 years of life. Javonte was stuck in a mental crisis after life handed him some tough battles that he tried to work through, but ultimately he gave in to the voices in his head. However, the choices he made on Monday, June 24, 2024, tragically left loved ones destroyed and the city of Bradenton on high alert. This is the story of 3 beautiful women and 1 man who changed the course of all their lives in a matter of hours, leaving a path of destruction across the city of Bradenton and multiple families torn apart. Back in 2014, 18-year-old Javonte Brice was at the prime of his life. In that spring, he completed high school at King Senior High in Tampa, Florida, where he excelled in football and track. He went on to further his education at Minnesota State University, where he continued to do well in track and said college life was his best life. He appeared to be a typical college student, living in the dorms, having fun with his friends, and just enjoying life.
Okay.
At some point, he would transfer to Savannah State University, and around the same time, he became a father to a son in December 2016, and that was his first child at the age of 21. By March of 2018, he welcomed his second child, a little girl, and seemed to be beyond happy to be a father and was excited about being there for both his kids, who he called his prince and princess. Though 2018 started off with the expected arrival of his little princess, in December of that same year, he would end up getting shot, and one loved one said that incident left him lost inside. Though Javonte had his struggles, he also had loved ones who cared for him and truly wanted to help him with his battles in his mind. He had a village around him to pick him up, and when he was down, and they would encourage him on those tough days. Sadly, during his life, he was not only shot on one occasion, but twice, according to one of his sister's Facebook posts that said, "I can't get you out of your head. All them horrible thoughts you have going on in your head. No one knew what you had going on but me. I've been telling the family that you had mental health. I got you back active and you did not follow up on your therapy. I did everything in my power to help you. I've been going through this mental illness with you, man, and I've been there with you through everything. I was on the phone when you got shot the first time. I was the first one to see you land in the hospital the second time." Another sister also would write, "I kept my distance for my own sanity, but you and all your kids knew I did not play about you. I would get on all they butts when it came down to you. I love you so much, and I wish our lives could have really been different." Right there shows that he had a family to guide him, but like the old saying goes, You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Javonte went on to have many more children, but was never able to make things work with the mothers, according to him. He said himself on social media posts next to one of his daughters, "I've tried loving other women, but I find myself failing. The only love I have left is for you, baby. I pray that a dude like me never comes across you. The way my fractured heart is set up, I'm too far gone to turn around. You're my only daughter. I know my karma coming. I just hope the Lord be very lenient with me, 'cause evil lives in my heart when it comes to you. Thanks for giving me the colors to paint the sky without a pencil." This was just another demonstration years back that he felt he was unworthy of love and was too far gone. Javonte used his poetry as a way to cry out for help and a way to uplift others in dark places too. He shared his poetry online and also took part in poetry sessions in Bradenton. Poetry was supposed to be a positive outlet, but tragically it was not enough to keep Javonte sane. By June 2024, things appear to be coming to a head in his mind, and what he is accused of doing is devastating to say the least. This is what loved ones online alleged took place before the tragic day. Apparently, Javonte was supposed to be taking meds to help with his mental sickness, but he had stopped taking them. Since he stopped taking his medication, he was allegedly not able to see some of his children until he was well. He was said to be living in Georgia with his spouse or girlfriend when she asked him to leave because of his mental state. He then went back to Florida to his mother, who took him in to help him, but things got out of hand. This is when she left the home and went to a motel with her man and two of her daughters. Allegedly, Javonte felt that everyone was getting in the way of him being with his kids. So on June 23rd, the day before the crime, he posted, "When you have so many options, you choose the wrong option." Then he posted 2 videos with his 2 daughters and said, "I may be broken hundreds of women's hearts, but I've never break y'all hearts. I love you so much." Both y'all first words were Dada. He always posted his kids and spoke of his love for them and always wanting to be there for them. By all accounts, he appeared to be a great dad, but just needed to get right mentally. Court records show Javonte previously faced charges of DV in September 2023 in Manatee County, but the charges were later dropped. He also faced first-degree DV charges in Manatee County in August 2022, where the adjudication was withheld by the judge. A petition for a writ protection order was served to him in Manatee County by the Bradenton Police Department. Officers said in the petition that Javonte had used or said he would use a weapon against himself or others. He was ordered to surrender all firearms and ammunition in his custody. Javonte was also not to have possession of any firearm or ammunition while the order was in effect until August 2023. This was just the tip of the iceberg, though, of what was sadly to come this summer of 2024. The first thing he said on June 24th, 2023 was, "The only relationship I know I'll never lose is with the Lord." Then after that, things turned dark all within some hours. At around 9:30 p.m. that night, he wrote, "I love you, babe, Sacouya Brice, Cunhell." That post was about his cousin, 29-year-old Sacouya Brice, who was just celebrating her birthday the day before. And then she was tragically gunned down by Javonte. According to authorities, she was leaving a gathering, and when she was entering her car, her cousin came up to her and shot her. However, that was not the first person he took out that day, but the first he tagged on social media. According to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, it all started sometime between 9 o'clock p.m. when Javonte traveled to Palomito Trace Apartments in the city of Palomito. Inside of one of those apartments was his sister and a mother to one of his many children that he has. When he walked into the apartment, he looked at his ex-girlfriend and said, "I have to unalive you." But somehow Javonte's sister was able to talk him down and talk him out of shooting the ex-girlfriend. She later told investigators that he was acting very strange and was not really sure what was going on with him. At 9:17 p.m., he traveled to a Motel 6 in East Bradenton. Inside one of those rooms was his mother, his mother's boyfriend, and 2 of his little sisters. He walked into the hotel room, looked at his mother and said, "I'm sorry." She asked, "What did you do?" And he shot her 3 times in front of the boyfriend and the 2 young girls. his own mother, who brought him into this world, and I'm sure wanted the best for him. Sadly, that was just the beginning of his crime spree. He then traveled to Palomito to the 900 block of 26th Street East, where the cousin I spoke of earlier was located. As she was starting to get into her vehicle to leave, he then shot her, and sadly, she later passed away about an hour after the shooting at a local hospital. She was a young, vibrant mother who sadly leaves behind 2 young sons, who also, unfortunately, lost their father a few years back, so now they have no parents. Authorities then said he traveled into the city of Bradenton over the Green Bridge, and roughly at about 10:04 p.m., he arrived at a location in the city of Bradenton at the 4800 block of 51st Street East. This is a home where another ex-girlfriend lived, and Javonte decided to take the life of her partner, 31-year-old Chanel Carter, whom many affectionately call Pig. He took to social media after the shooting and said, "Pig, I love you, but you had to go." Just like Sacouya, she was a young, vibrant mother as well, with sons, and shared a young son with her girlfriend. However, his ex-girlfriend was not shot in this incident. At this point, there are 3 different crime scenes across the city, and the family told the law that the suspect for all 3 shootings was indeed Javonte Brice. His family also expressed their belief that he was headed to another ex-girlfriend's home in the state of Georgia to take her life as well. This is when a bolo went out statewide, and sheriff deputies with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office spotted the vehicle that he was driving with a woman passenger inside. This woman passenger is believed to have been inside the vehicle, according to law enforcement, during all of the shootings. After the deputies pulled him over, Javonte immediately got out of the car and began shooting at the deputies. They would return fire, and he would end up losing his life. The news of this tragedy spread fast because Javonte posted every move he made that night, and in turn, it also most likely saved a lot of lives.
The officials told us it seemed like Javonte Brice had an agenda and knew who he wanted to. We also just learned from the sheriff's office that he had a woman in the car with him as he went along this shooting spree. Now, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office said Brice went to Palmetto to see his sister and one of his ex-girlfriends. The sheriff said Brice told them he had to sex, but was talked out of it. The sheriff said Brice then went to a Motel 6 just down the street from our location here, where he said sorry to his mother, then shot her 3 times in front of 2 young girls. About half an hour later, the sheriff said Brice went to a cookout in Palmetto, where he shot one of his cousins as she was getting in her SUV to leave. She later. Then, 20 minutes later, the sheriff said Brice went to another residence in Palmetto, where another ex-girlfriend was living. Brice ended up shooting his ex's new partner.
Though he had his struggles, no one foresaw what happened to ever take place. As of this recording, it is still the very early stages of the investigation, but some allegations online are not true. Some believe that he was an undercover or a DL man, and that was not the case. The pictures of him close to a man is his brother, who had done some time and just recently came home. His blood brother, and the rumors are false. The most important thing to focus on is the 3 women who lost their lives that should still be here. Not only were they mothers, but they were loved, cherished, and had many people who care for them, who are now hurting in the worst way. They were sisters, friends, aunts, grandmothers, and so much more. It is more than tragic what he did and the lives he affected doing this senseless crime. Nowadays, most people know someone who's struggling with their mental state. And all I can say is stay vigilant and be kind, because you never know what someone is thinking or what they may do at a breaking point. My thoughts and prayers are with all the family and friends who have been affected by this tragedy. I truly pray the Lord gives you the peace in such a dark time. So please don't forget to comment your thoughts and prayers for this family in their difficult time, and hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.